What I'd like to do here in a few minutes is to answer some of the questions that may have come up about what the value of intelligent design is in the sciences, to try to step back. We've looked at specific issues where intelligent design can help, but let's kind of step back and reflect on that for a moment. What would actually be the value of using intelligent design in the sciences? If my voice is a little scratchy, I apologize. I have a cold, and there's only so much that Sudafed, chlorpheniramine, and adrenaline can do. So we'll try our best here. Well, let's just step back for a second. What exactly is intelligent design? It's actually providing a third causal explanation to the scientific toolkit. We all are familiar with the use of law, the use of chance to describe things that are too complicated to boil down to simple laws. And intelligent design proposes that we can add a designer as a third causal notion in the sciences. This is really not a problem in a number of disciplines. If the agent or the designer is a human, then there's definitely no problem whatsoever with this. And it's amazing that even an alien agent can be introduced and that be considered science. For example, the SETI program is looking for intelligent signals coming to Earth from space from alien intelligences. Now, of course, you have to be careful how far you want to take that. This does not endorse the National Enquirer and other reports like that. But where the flame begins is when you introduce a non-physical agent. Then people start getting concerned. So that's what we want to take a look at, what's involved with this. And the reason people get concerned is because you're hitting the definition of science by proposing a non-physical designer. This would be a nice quiz to ask you here. What is the goal of science? Science, answer A, is that the goal of science is to seek truth or to answer questions such as what is reality? Science, answer B, is that the goal of science is to offer the best naturalistic explanation for phenomena in the material world. Now, which one of these is correct? The culture quite obviously thinks that it is A, that the goal of science is to lead us to truth. And the reason the culture thinks this is that this is what scientists tell it. Daniel Dennett, for example, a philosopher in science, argues here that the science and technology of truth-seeking is our most valuable export to foreign students and so on coming here for education. So obviously, this is how people think of it, that the goal of science is to be truth-seeking. And I actually think that's an excellent definition. I don't have trouble with that until you start to look at how it cashes out. Because if what science actually does is to provide the best naturalistic explanation for things, but it calls it seeking truth, there's a problem here. There's a worldview that's hidden in mixing those two definitions. And it's kind of a shell game. The worldview that's hidden, of course, is naturalism, that the only truth that there is will be naturalistic. So this is the problem that we face then in introducing a non-physical designer as a cause in the natural world. Well, some people would argue, wait a second here, really what scientists do is they only practice methodological naturalism. They might be open to non-physical agents outside of that, but when we do science, we focus on only naturalistic causes for this. This is, even in and of itself, a problem because you're leaving out, as a possible explanation, a non-physical designer. And when you do that, you encounter this problem. If the evidence actually points to a non-physical designer, science definition B cannot answer that question. Science definition B must provide a just so naturalistic story to explain what looks like the activity of a non-physical designer, if it admits that there's any issues here at all. So this becomes the problem then with it. A good example of this I encountered with my son's biology text. He's in 7th grade, and we're reading the chapters on Darwin and so on, and evolution that are involved there. And he asked me, while we're reading the chapter over, he says, well, where's God in this? In Sunday school and stuff, we talk about God creating. What's going on here? So I say, well, this is a problem in our culture today. In the public school, they do not allow God to be mentioned because that would be considered a religious topic. That'd be bringing religion into the classroom, and because of the public setting, we can't do that. So then he says, well, wait a second, no. If God's not important here, then why is he important anywhere? And that's probably the lesson that a number of people are hoping your kids will get out of the science textbook. And my son got it, so it's like, oh boy, wow, it's there. But this is the issue. By leaving religious explanations out, by ignoring them, you're conveying a message that actually favors a religious view. It might not be formally called religion, but it's not neutral to leave out religious explanations. You're favoring atheism, the view that there is no God, by leaving that out. And of course, if science is taught as science seeks truth, then if science can explain things without needing a designer, then why bother with one? So this then becomes the issue of the materialistic or naturalistic limitations that are there. Well, why not allow a little criticism or allow the possibility of a designer into the scientific repertoire for things? Of course, you find resistance for this for some interesting reasons.